Okay. Oh. Bit of a late delayed response there. I believe 6 is correct. I mean, I don't say 6 is working, so hopefully 6 is actually working. The line's already in the translator box. Then, you start supporting on the current situation.
つぐみは今麻酔で眠っているわ。多分明日まで起きないと思う。
Tsugumi is sleeping under an anesthesia right now. I don't think she'll wake up until tomorrow.
外科手術の方は医療ロボットがやってくれたとはいえ、40針ほど縫った傷、複雑骨折他合わせて全治2ヶ月といった診断ね。
Which is, of course, a contrivance, because when do you wake up after an anesthetic? Usually right after. Unless you're me, and you're extremely sleep deprived, then you still wake up out of the anesthetic. You just go from that to just being asleep. I just switched, basically. It's different, right? It's not the same. Like, the induced unconsciousness is not the same as subconsciousness. It's a completely different thing. So a switch has to be made there. Surgery may have been performed by a medical robot, but it's a diagnosis of about 40 stitches, compound fractures, and 2 months of full recovery. Although surgery was performed by a medical robot, the wound required about 40 stitches. And the complex fracture and other injuries are all included. So the diagnosis is that it'll take 2 months to make a full recovery.
元のように歩けるようになるにはさらに数ヶ月かかりそうだけど。
And I would be very disappointed in medical staff if I had to undergo a surgery or something, and they kept me under intentionally for a whole day afterwards, because it's still very unclear what the long-term effect or permanent effect on the brain all of the anesthetics have. So you really only want to be put under for as long as it takes to do the surgery. You might go, okay, so what's a medical induced coma? That's when you're put under a lot. Okay, is that good? No. Screw that. And this is somewhat different from the whole post-operative cognitive dysfunction thing. That is potential, we don't know what that is actually either. The leading hypothesis is that is potential damage to the brain caused by your immune system in its response to you being cut open. Now, it's suspected that although that can happen without anesthetic, like you just get a wound, like just getting a, which is suspect that just getting a nasty wound can give you post-operative cognitive dysfunction, even if it's not like a medical setting. Just literally having the metal stabbed through your leg can give you that, because your immune system suddenly puts a whole bunch of like macrophages and whatever else nonsense. There's some technical term for that into your blood, which will then get to your brain. But it's suspected that the general anesthetic makes it worse, because in the process of the anesthetic going through your brain barrier, it leaves holes, which makes it easier for your immune system to get into where it's not supposed to go. If the leading hypothesis is correct, which I haven't finished reading through all the literature on this yet, you would think that they would have tested this in the mice if they suspected this. The only thing mouse literature I found was anesthesia and operation. If you were to use anesthetic and then not perform the operation, you just put the mouse under and then just wake it back up again, you wouldn't get any post-operative cognitive dysfunction. Then again, anesthesia alone may come up with have a damage mechanism, just even if it's not like enough to like where the monitors tell you you're doing damage. Just any concentration that is separate from that. That may not manifest like in a way that is observable. I mean, if you do a little bit of brain damage, you just won't be able to notice, right? But it's still bad. You still don't want it until a very long duration. I know the said is if you use them for a very long duration, they can make it so that you permanently have like an inability to make memories. Anyway, enough of my ranting. Anyway, my point is, don't put someone under for a day if you don't need to put someone under for a day. Like, that's stupid. Don't do that. But it doesn't seem like that's what they're going for with the plot. What they're going for with the plot here of this fictional story is they're just saying the anesthetic takes a day to wake up from, which is nonsense. It's fiction. It looks like it'll take a few more months for her to be able to walk like she used to. It's a silver lining that her life isn't in danger.
そうね。つぐみには救助が来てレミューから出られるようになるまで安静にしてもらうことになるわね。
Yeah, I'll have Tsugumi rest until help arrives, and then she can leave Lemu. Right, so you plan on just getting on the submarine just as the people who can walk and then try to get someone back here? Is that the plan? A better plan would be to carry her out, which means that our options from now on are either to wait for rescue or to call for help.
それなんですが。
About that.
現在、コスミッシャーバルのあるドリットシュトックへ向かうルートすべてが浸水し、封鎖されています。
The entire route to Drite Stock, where the Cosmic Whale is currently located, has been flooded and sealed. Wait, I don't remember this. Currently, all routes to Drite Stock, where Cosmic Whale is located, are flooded and closed. Well, but you can pump them out, right? Is that where you're going with this? Because they could get there. I remember reading them getting there. I played this before. What do you mean?
小町さんの大怪我の原因にもなった事故なんですが。
It was an accident that caused Komachi-san's serious injury. It was the accident that caused Komachi-san's serious injury. Ga is a conjunction. Oh, I didn't know that the cousin of the kanji for Komachi. I didn't notice that before. So it starts with little. What's the second kanji mean? Like some plot that. Oops. I goofed up. Let's try that again. Okay. Town. Oh, so Komachi means small town. Interesting.
シャフトの歪みが発生した時、メタンハイドレードのプラント内でメタンガスの漏出が起きていたようです。
When the shaft warped, methane gas leaked from, it should be from, right? The methane hydrate plant. Well, that's why that was mentioned. It appears that the shaft distortion occurred, and a methane gas leak was occurring inside the methane hydrate plant.
このブロックの異常センサー類の一部に不具合が発生していたため、ガスの漏出が見落とされていました。
Because some of the abnormal sensors in the block were malfunctioning, the gas leaks were overlooked.
漏出したガスが破損によりむき出しになっていた配線に触れたことにより起爆、火災が発生しました。
When the leaking gas touched the exposed wiring, due to damage, detonation and fire broke out. The leaking gas came and caught an exposed wire, which exploded and caused a fire. That kind of bothers me because, okay, say there's an exposed wire. There are two exposed wires. And say there is a big potential difference between them, right? And say there was no fire. Then we would assume that that potential difference did not create sufficient electric field strength to cause dielectric breakdown of air, which means it didn't, in the nitrogen and oxygen and whatever's in the air, wasn't enough voltage to rip the electrons off of their nuclei that made, for the atoms that made up those atmospheric gases, right? Say methane gets leaked into the area. If it couldn't make dielectric breakdown of the air, could it then potentially have enough field strength to essentially start ripping apart the methane? I mean, you don't have to do ionization. You just need to catalyze combustion. I don't know. I don't think I'll even bother to try to figure that out because this game isn't really accurate scientifically anyway. So I wouldn't think if it could, because dielectric breakdown of air, you'd think that it would have to do with the electron affinity of the most outermost electrons, and nothing to do with the actual bond strength. So between the elements, so I don't see why methane would be easier to dielectrically break down, to rip off electrons off of. It's easier to break apart, maybe. Oh well. No. I'm so stupid. I'm so uneducated. I suck.
火災はすぐに消火装置が働いて鎮火しました。幸いなことに被害が大きかったのは私たちのいるブロックの反対側なので、近辺で目立った被害はありません。
If you're wondering how dielectric breakdown manifests itself to you in real life, it's a spark. There you go. So you have a big voltage, a big field strength, get a big voltage really close together, you get a spark. The fire, and then, enough heat's given off that you can catalyze combustion. It's how a gasoline engine works. But I would presume that the engine would spark even if there's no fuel. Fuel doesn't make it easier to spark. It just makes it so that when it does spark, it go boom. The fire was extinguished immediately by a fire extinguisher. Fortunately, I presume an automated one. Fortunately, you mean unfortunately? The damage was severe on the other side of the block we're in. So, some complete and utter nonsense. Oh, I see. There's a bunch of oh, I see what I did. Okay, I chopped off the bottom half of all the characters. Let me fix that. Fortunately, the damage was severe on the other side of the block, so there's no visible damage in the area. Or not severe? I mean, Google Translate says, the fire was quickly put out by the fire extinguishing equipment. Luckily, the damage was most severe on the opposite side of the block from where we are, so there's no visible damage in the vicinity.
ただ、事故により浸水エリアが増えたため、ドリットシュトックへ向かうルートすべてが現在封鎖されています。
However, I guess I don't know why I guess it was sparking already. Okay, whatever. We'll continue. Could have just been sparking and not igniting because there's no fuel. I just realized. That could explain this whole thing. Is just the whole time. However, because the number of flooded areas has increased due to the accident, why would I assume there was no breakdown in the first place? Okay, continuing on. Because the number of flooded areas has increased due to the accident, all routes to Dritte stock are currently closed. Brenna asks, can't we pump them? Isn't there just conveniently just pumps we can use? I mean, you gotta start pumping just in case, Tsugumi miraculously recovers. You never know what could happen. The only option left is to wait for rescue. But we have food and water here, so we have 5 days left, right? We'll manage. I said as brightly as I could.
そのことなのですが、今回の事故による影響を含めた施設の崩壊時間の再計算を行ったのですが。
Why would you bother being bright? Who's here is Sora, who's a robot, and you don't have to I don't want to use the P word here. I don't know. You don't have to be a P word around. About that, I recalculated the time of collapse of the facility, including the effects of the accident.
崩壊時間は残り約91時間に早まりました。
The time to collapse is about 91 hours. Okay, but I don't really have we know how many hours have passed since the previous estimate, so I don't know if that's a decrease, how much of a decrease that is. Collapse time has been accelerated to about 91 hours. Okay, let me try to guess this. So we are at about noon on day 3, right? The first estimate was given as 170 hours and 17 minutes, which was after noon on day 1. So I would presume about maybe 1 or 2 o'clock. Now they had to go down the whole 3 o'clock or something, I don't know. But they went to bed soon after, didn't they? No, they had to make their... Yeah, because they went to the control room, and then they... Okay. Right now, we're at about noon on day 3. So, noon day 1 to noon day 3 is 48 hours, right? So if you had 170 minutes, so we're just... It's 70 hours and 17 minutes, and 48 hours have passed, then you'd have 122 hours and 17 minutes. And then say it wasn't really noon day 1, because actually that's when Takeshi went into the elevator to go into Lamu, right? It was around noon. Or you could say about 34 minutes after noon, because he got the second batch after noon, approximately. And it took maybe an hour for the disaster to occur, and it took them maybe, I don't know, I don't know why it would take this long, but about an hour to get to the control room. So then we actually have only 120 hours and 17 minutes. If it's now taking 91 hours, then they lost 39 hours. Now, that's interesting. Let's see. So 170 hours and 17 minutes minus 39 hours is about 100. This is what it would have been originally. 131 hours and 17 minutes. Okay. We don't care about the 17 minutes. Why did I go through all that exercise? Of going, okay, we're at 91 hours left. Let's back up 48 hours. And now we're at 139 hours. And then whatever nonsense, right? 139 hours to 48 hours ago. Or I needed 131 somehow, some stupid math. I wasn't being very careful with my math. Because I wanted to see if it would back up to 119 hours. So it ended up being 119 hours from the first estimate. What we could... Oh, I know how to reconcile this. Um, okay, 170 minus 48, right? That's kind of like 170 minus 50, which is 120. That's why I made it 122, right? And then here's where I goofed up. I subtracted the 2 to 120. If the estimate was made later, there should be more time left now, right? So it should be added. It's 124, right? Okay. Correct. And so what we actually lose is not 30. The estimate was not off. Was actually only off by 30. No, it'd still be 41 hours. It would be 41 hours. Okay. I think I can make it work. I'm going to stop doing all this like wrong math. But what could make it work is, if you remember, the estimate given in the original was the morning of day 2. It wasn't actually afternoon of day 1 like in this remake. So you could say, okay, well, this readjusts the time so that the estimate from the beginning to get the correct time giving this readjustment would be about 130 hours and 17 minutes instead of 170 hours and 17 minutes. Well, if the time in which the estimate was given in the original was 11 hours later, then that explained that we get back to 119. And it would recreate the original number. I don't know. Takeshi goes, 91 hours left. I know the rest is 91 Jikan, or Junichi Jikan. I just don't know what that first kanji is. Oh, that's left. Okay. Well, now I know what, like, remaining looks like in kanji. Of course, Yu's given the face instead of Takeshi, because Takeshi doesn't have a sprite.
本当なの?
Really?
はい。3日後の AM7 時前後にこのレミューは崩壊します。
Yes, 3 days from now, around 7 a.m., Lemu will collapse. So, 7 a.m. on day 7. No, okay, so we're at day 3, right? So, 7 a.m. day 6, right? But really? No. It happens later on day 6. Because anime. The game timeline goes into day 7, but everyone's in IBF day 7. Like, that's when, like, Takeshi and Tsugumi are alone down there, and then after the night, it takes about a night for the sub to get ready and all that stuff. So you get into day 7, but Lemu's already collapsed by then. I exchanged glances with you, but nothing came out. You and I exchanged looks, but no words came out. Silence fell over the room. Or I could do this math. So, 7 a.m. on day 6, right? So, how much time is that from 7 a.m. day 1? Well, 5 times 24 hours, which is 120 hours. So, okay. So how many hours would that be from 2 o'clock on day 1? Approximately 113 hours. Okay, getting kind of close. No, that's not. But that doesn't really help because day 1 should have a longer estimate. Yeah, we're still longer. We're still longer than 119 from the morning of day 2, right? Because 119 from the... Because the morning of day 2 to the morning of day 6 would be 4 times 24, which is 116. No, I don't know why I'm doing that. 96. I can't math. Yeah, that would be 96. So, I don't know. What am I doing here? Right, so morning of day 6 is 113 hours from my estimated time of the prediction. And 96 hours from the morning of day 2. So this would actually be shorter than the projection given in the original. So we're going from longer than the projection given in the original to shorter. Now, okay. Interesting. Damn it, give me a break. I hold my head with most hands.
手詰まりかな。
Takeshi, you are so dramatic and unmanly in this version of the game. We're stuck, I guess. You murmured as she pressed her hand to her temple. I wanted to run away from the current situation right now. But there's nowhere to run here. "91 hours left. We won't be able to escape." We could actually get the exact time, right, if we know it's 91 hours left. Because if it's 91 hours later is 7 a.m. on day 6, or 3 days from now, right, then 24 times 3 is 72. Oh, I see. This is dumb. Okay. It's 3 days plus 19 hours, right? Okay, so they probably don't mean, okay, I'm totally off here. They don't mean 70 a.m. day 6, they mean 7 a.m. day 7. And then now would be 6 hours later, 5 hours later, sorry, from 7 a.m. So it would be exactly noon right now on day 3. Okay, so I was right, it's noon on day 3 right now. And then it's 7 a.m. on day 7, correction, where Sora is saying that the collapse would occur. And that would be approximately 127 hours from when I guess the first prediction was made, which would have been for 170 hours and 17 minutes. And let's see here. 120 hours from the morning of day 2. Well, in the morning of day 2, in the original, it was projected that Lemu would last 119 hours, which is 1 hour short of 120 hours, which is 5 days. So around the morning of day 7. Yes, it reconciles! Although I demonstrate how dumb I am. I'm so dumb. Okay. Man, I'm dumb. Ha! I take a deep breath. Now, that it's come to this. Let's get out of here. What? Out of the desire to run away? If it comes to this, I might as well just run away, because I want to run away. Okay. Well, you do you. Whatever that means. Run into a wall, I guess. Let's struggle the time we have left. Let's struggle to make the most of the time we have left. I had no choice but to be defiant. I had no choice but to do what I could and needed to do right now. Sora, how's contact with the outside world going?
引き続き現状可能な通信で SOS を発信しています。受信もすべてのチャンネルをオープンにしてあります。
SOS is still transmitting through the correct possible channels. All channels are open to receive transmissions. Well, we can find a route that might lead to an impossible to scan location. Okay.
わかりました。調べてみます。
Okay, I'll look into it. Saying that, Sora headed for the terminal. Thank you, Sora. I thank Sora with her back turned, right? Google Translate says, I thanked the sky behind me. It's supposed to mean I thank Sora as she had her back turned to me, I presume. Good work, you. You, what is it? Okay, what's wrong? Eh?
さすがにちょっと疲れたわね。
I'm a little tired. You hung your head and didn't say much. It's okay. We've been fine up until now, so we'll be fine from now on. Well, I say that statement a lot in real life. But I instead of we.
何よそれ。
What's that supposed to mean? It implies God.
ほんと、クラナリってアドレナリン出まくりなのね。
Kuranari is really full of adrenaline written out in katakana, so it's like adorenarin. Adorenarin?
そう。興奮とやる気を高めるアドレナリン。非常事態に直面した時、活動力を高めて危険から体を守るホルモンね。
That's right, adrenaline that boosts excitement and motivation. When faced with an emergency, it's a hormone that enhances activity and protects the body from danger. Or gets the body in danger, depending on the context. Okay, Google Translate says something similar.
戦う闘争ホルモン。または逃げの闘争ホルモンって言われているわ。
Hormone is also a katakana word. It's called the battle hormone, or the escape hormone, or the fight or
クラ
flight
ナリの場
hormone.
合、戦う闘争ホルモンって感じよね。
In Kuranari's case, it's like fighting hormone. Yuko's want to utilize. Now it's an escape hormone. I'm running away from the desire to throw everything away and run away.
そうなんだ。さて、それじゃあ、私は食事の支度でもやりますか。
I still don't know what run away means in this context. To kill oneself? Well, then, shall I prepare the meal? It's true that it's late at night, but what's with you all of a sudden? No, it's not. Isn't it like noon? Didn't I already calculate that? Certainly late at night, but what's the suddenness? That's not late at night. What? Is it kanji? Oh, kanji, you're wrong. Okay, it should probably be lunchtime. Yeah, I didn't notice this kanji was messed up, and then I got confused.
お腹が減ると負の感情に関わる神経細胞が刺激されるって知ってる？
Did you know that when you get hungry, nerve cells related to negative emotions are stimulated? Yes, it's called hangry.
だからあんたみたいに単純じゃない私は気分を上向きにするために食事をしようと思ったの。
That's why So, being not as simple-minded as you, I decided to eat something to lift my spirits. Why you have to throw a dig in there for? I know someone like that who has to throw random digs into the things they say. It's not a good trait to have, you. What's that supposed to mean? Am I simpler? As we chatted, we left the control room. Okay, something about showers. I take a shower. Is it Abita? I took a shower. I put on my washed shirt. So I presume I don't understand necessarily how this works. Like, you put your clothes in the washing machine, right? But then you're like naked because you put your clothes in the washing machine. You get in the shower, but are the shower and the washing machine in close enough proximity that you don't just walk naked? These guys only have one set of clothes, by the way, to the shower. And then when you do laundry, there's typically 2 stages to your laundry. you wash the clothes, and then you dry the clothes. And someone has to move the clothes from the washer to the dryer while you're not wearing the clothes. So, what is people kind of prancing around naked in this? I don't understand how the logistics are supposed to work. The language always seems to me like they're doing their laundry and they're taking their shower simultaneously. I don't know why I have to sanitize a story like that. Just make it dramatic. Make him get all stinky and stuff. I mean, Takeshi's gonna grow a beard anyway. The shirt before I washed it was bright red with Tsugumi's blood, but all traces of it had disappeared. That's not how it works, though. Blood just doesn't just wash out with laundry detergent. Yeah, some laundry detergent has bleach in it, but I don't use that kind. Maybe that's what's happening here. That's another kind of thing they didn't address. They said that Takeshi took his shirt off to tie around Tsugumi's leg. 3 inches above the wound. It says in my first day of class. I don't know if Takeshi knew that or not. But it's 2 to 3 inches. It never said when he took it off. You put it back on. You put it back on. In fact, put back on the bloody shirt, or was he just kind of walking around shirtless? I presume. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a dude, he can walk around shirtless if he wants to. I wish that the accident would just disappear like this. If only it never happened. When I stepped out of the shower, you and the boy were making dinner. I didn't see Coco anywhere. I don't see Coco anywhere. Where did she go?
つぐみのお見舞いに行ってるよ。
She was going to visit Tsugumi. Or go to see Tsugumi, one or the other. But Tsugumi won't wake up until tomorrow, right?
それでも近くにいたいんだって。
But she wants to be in her vicinity. Chikaku, right? Chikaku is like nearby. I kind of understand how Coco feels. Because Tsugumi was injured protecting Coco and me. She probably thinks Tsugumi's injury is her fault. Well, it could kind of be Takeshi's fault in this case, because instead of Takeshi sweeping Coco away, he just kind of hugged her. Right? So he, could have done what Tsugumi did, but chose a different thing. Right? He's like, I'm going to be a human shield as opposed to getting her out of the way. That being said, it's not nearly as bad as the original game, where he literally caused the accident. Because instead of it being a nonsense methane leaking into some place where now I'm understanding there was already sparks flying, it's just Takeshi knocked over a big pile of precarious things. I'll have to cheer her up later.
さあ、用意ができたわよ。
I'm ready. Probably mean the meal's ready. And it's man's cooking, right? Because you can't cook. Because Yuka. The legacy of Yuka lives on. Oh, lunch is ready. First girl problems. However, I think Yue in Memories Off, we don't really have any statements about how well she can cook. Wondering what they could have done, what I could have done, I looked at the table and saw a whole lettuce for a number of people. A fish calzone, I presume it's supposed to be a calzone, with just a lid open, can, and seasonings like mayonnaise, ketchup, and mustard. Okay, this actually did better with Deep L, I think. See how we prepared. There's a whole head of lettuce. Okay, where'd the 1 come from? Okay, let's put a 1 here. For each person. That's a reference to the original, but different context. Let's actually get the lettuce. Because we have that CG of Sora eating lettuce that we might have to import into here. Anyway, a can of fish with the lid open. And condiments such as mayonnaise, ketchup, and mustard. So a can of fish, is that like sardines? It's like, what is that Scandinavian stuff? Surströmming, yes. Fermented fish in a can. I haven't tried it. I'm curious about it. Does it taste vinegary? Anyway. Wait, did you really do this?
そうよ。少年、ココを呼んできてね。お昼にしましょう。
That's right. Kid, go get Coco. Let's do it a long time ago. Let's travel back in time and do it. And let's go back in time is what Google Translate says. Wrong kanji, right? This kanji's wrong. And we've seen the kanji it's supposed to be before and forgot what it is. Which is really unfortunate.
Hi.
Yes? The boy left the room to call Coco. Take another look at Yu's cooking. Yeah, I just don't notice the pattern. Well, I just took note of the pattern of first girls. Yu, Yue, Yuka, Yu. Anyway. It's rough. Or maybe it's more like man's cooking. Or like to an English... If you were to do like a localization of this, you would do... Which I'm not a fan of. I always leave it as man's cooking. But if, as an exercise, if you wanted to make a localization of this, you would say bachelor cooking. It doesn't look like cooking at all, you know. After dinner, I went to visit Tsugumi and check on Coco. Is this the big choice? In the end, Coco didn't have an appetite, so she didn't come to eat lunch because she didn't need it. Okay. Well, when you're sick, you tend to lose your appetite as well. I don't know why, because the food's still useful, but your body just goes, nah. Also, I wanted to see Tsugumi's safe face. Or just face. I wanted to see Tsugumi safe and sound. Just as I was about to open the door to the infirmary...
Kuranari-san.
Kuranari-san! I heard a voice behind me. And now she's in front of me. Ah, Sora. Sora appeared right behind me.
小松さんは当分目を覚まさないと思いますよ。
I don't think Komachi-san will wake up for a while. Well, I don't think Komachi-san will wake up anytime soon.
まだ麻酔も効いてるはずですし、今はそっとしておくのが一番です。
The anesthesia should still be working. It's best to leave her alone for now. You're right.
ところで倉成さん、これからお時間ありますか？
By the way, Kurenai-san, do you have time now? Me?
はい。よろしかったら少しお話ししたいなと思いまして。
If you don't mind, I'd like to talk to you for a bit. Sora talking to me? I wonder what she wants to talk about. Have you found a route that's possible to pass through?
それは現在、あらゆる状況や条件を踏まえ割り出し中です。
We're currently figuring that out based on all the circumstances and conditions. Okay, brief pause there. Looks like I already read this. So then, what is it?
それはですね。
Well, you see...
内緒です。
It's, okay. Wrong kanji, but I presume it's a secret. Sora smiled mischievously. Sora talking about a secret? It's a little unexpected.
ここだとなんですから、場所を変えませんか？
Why don't we go somewhere else? Okay. P. No, that's the backlog. L. There you go. Save. Page over. In number 7. Yes. Okay, so let me explain this. Probably don't need to because you're all familiar with Ever17, but I'll explain it anyway. This is, I call, the big choice because of how it works in the original. I don't know if it works exactly the same way here. That's the problem. So, but in the original of this, it's different in that you actually go to the infirmary no matter what, and you look at the sleeping Tsugumi. In this, oddly, Sora cuts you off and doesn't even let you look at Tsugumi, which is, makes it seems more possessive, but she doesn't wait till you go to the infirmary and then talk to you, right? She intercepts you before you even get there. That's weird. Because overall, in this route, Sora is less possessive than in the original. But whatever. I don't know why she's more possessive here. But in the original, you actually go to the infirmary and you're looking at Tsugumi, and then Sora walks up and it's like, I'd like to talk to you about something. Would you like to come with me to talk about something? And it's kind of rude not to in the original because, you had your chance, right? Unlike here, where it's like, what are you doing, Sora? And then if you go with Sora, she gives you this big time travel speech that is reprised by Akane at the end of Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. Which would make it retroactively very famous. You get this the famous big speech by Sora in the jellyfish gondola. And if you don't, you just pass it up. Now, if you pass up the speech, where you get this like very minimal, poorly written filler scene where he sees Chammy in a passageway. It doesn't know what he is yet. You are guaranteed to end up in Tsugumi's route. It locks you into Tsugumi's route if you reject Sora's proposal. If you go talk to Sora, you might end up in Sora's route, depending on how many Tsugumi points you have at the moment. If you have above a certain threshold of Tsugumi points, which is, I don't remember exactly, I think it's like 10 or something. I know it's 17 to trigger her ending. To get into the Tsugumi good quote-unquote ending as opposed to the bad ending, once you're in her route, you need 17. I don't know what the initial threshold is for the bifurcation between Sora and Tsugumi. But if you exceed that threshold, then you end up in Tsugumi's route anyway, despite going with Sora. So how you end up in Sora's route is you go with Sora to listen to the speech, but then also don't have enough Tsugumi points. That's maybe why you could explain why the whole Sora route is like a bad route and a bad ending in the original, because it's like it manifests from a lack of enough points for somebody. It really doesn't matter how many Sora points you have. Anyway, something similar may be happening here, meaning it might be possible to go listen to this speech and still end up in the Tsugumi route, because I might have done enough good Tsugumi choices. I don't know if that's the case or not, because I don't know if my choices have been good for Tsugumi or not so far, to override the Tsugumi's route, which I want to get into anyway. But I'm not really going to mess around with it right now. I want Tsugumi's route, so I'm going to try to force trigger it here by rejecting Sora, and hopefully, which I'm pretty certain will work, even though this is a different game developer and they changed the game. I can't imagine ending up in the Sora route if I don't get this speech by Sora here. So it's like a 99% chance of guaranteeing me get in the Tsugumi route if I say Ikanai, which is the upper one of these choices, which means don't go or not go. Oh, select. Hopefully Tsukeshi isn't too rude about this. I'm worried about Sora too, but I have something that I need to do first. Why do you say worried? Because it's Sora no Hanabo. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm also curious about Sora's story. That makes more sense. But I have something I need to do first. And that's like kind of like a danger about the offline translator, because if you didn't know, this kanji is the same kanji you would use in the verb hanashimasu, which means to talk, or the kanji used to make the word hanashi, which means story. You would look at this translation, you go like, that looks fine. Anyway.
So desu ka.
Is that so? Can I do it later?
そうですね。大した話ではないですから、また今度にしましょうか。
Okay, so Takeshi wasn't that rude. That's right, it's not a big deal. Let's do it another time. So then go minna, right? Which is just I'm sorry. Yeah.
では、失礼しますね。
Well, if you'll excuse me. Sora smiled at me and then left. After seeing Sora off, I opened the door to the infirmary. Shun. I don't know what Shun has any. Maybe it's like the door opening sound. Come on. At that moment, something crossed my feet. Yeah, 'cause this is similar to the original alternate. You see, like, Shammy, right? I hear small footsteps. Wonder what it is. It's Pee-Pee, right? Anyway, it's a small brown creature. Is it a Nezumi, which is a rat, I presume? Rats in the latest theme park? Okay, so latest to make some sense because this is the new. This kanji means new, right? Yeah, new no Temapaka ni Nezumi. There's something wrong with that combination. Nezumi? No way, that's right. I must be seeing things, right? It has no tail, Takeshi. Rats have tails. I entered the infirmary, imagining what I just saw. I assumed that I had just seen was an illusion and entered the medical room. Okay, the infirmary. There's a faint smell of disinfectant in the room. I walk over to one of the beds in the back. I only see one bed in the back, but whatever. Coco is sleeping in a nearby chair. I go, why does that matter? Obviously, only part of the scene is shown. Yeah, but it's like... here's the surgery thing, which is combined with the... they don't call it the LMRI in this. They changed the name of it for the remake. I forget what they changed the name to. What used to be called the LMRI in the original. And then one bed. Where's the space for the other bed? On the other side of the LMRI? Over on the other side of the hallway? Maybe. Her eyes were red as if she was crying. But she's sleeping, so wouldn't her eyes be closed? At Coco's feet, Pee-Pee was curled up and sleeping. Or charging, that is. I looked at a nearby table and saw a plate with a hot dog on it. Yeah, I see how that is, but she can't eat it. I lightly patted Coco's head. Tsugumi was sleeping quietly. Last time I saw her pale face... Last time I saw her pale face... Okay, the machine translators are having a hard time with this. I presume it's supposed to mean, last time I saw her face it was pale, the luster had returned. Or the color had returned. I knelt down next to the bed. Then I gently grasped Tsugumi's palms with both hands. By the way, that IV placement is stupid. That was done to me, and it's not fun. Don't put it in the crook of the elbow like that. If you can get it, like, more... Like, there's a vein... It's harder to get. That's kind of why you sometimes end up with it, like, in the crook of the elbow, because that's the vein the nurse can get. There's, like, a vein over the brachioradialis that you can get if they can get it, which won't be in the crook. It'll still be on the elbow. If you put once had an IV in the crook of my elbow. It looks like she has a little bit more downstream, but that's not realistic. It ends up in the crook when you do that. If you bend your elbow, what that does is it'll bend the flexi tube that goes into your vein. Right, when you put an IV, there's a metal tube that goes around a flexi tube. You use the metal tube to puncture in, and then you pull back the metal part, and then the flexi part remains. You'll bend that flexi tube and kink it, and then the IV machine will be like, the stuff's not going in, and then it will beep at you and wake you up. So then you're like trying to like eat the hospital food without bending one of your elbows. Not fun. Anyway. Her quiet breathing breaks the censorship. I presume it's just the quietness. Yeah, I can hear the quiet sound. I hear the sound of quiet breathing. Well, it's completely different. Okay. I can hear the sound of quiet breathing. I'm glad. I was finally convinced Tsugumi was safe. Well, no one's safe right now, but okay. Not dying. And then for the first time since that accident, I felt like I was saved. For the first time since the accident, I felt like I had survived. Okay. I made tuna sandwiches for dinner. Wow, that was a short duration between lunch and dinner. It's because we didn't have to listen to Tsugumi to Sora's much dumbed down in this version speech. Like, it's not like the speech in the original. It's dumbed down. That said, something was frozen and thawed in the microwave. Tuna sandwiches, really? That said, the tuna sandwich is frozen and then defrosted in the microwave. But I don't see sandwichy in here. The tuna? Whatever. What specifically is eaten is not really that important, except tuna sandwiches. Wait! Tuna sandwich? That's the original food. Okay, we have pon, which is bread. Oh... which means object. Tosta. De. So you made bread in the toaster. You toasted bread with a toaster. Yes, okay. I can read that at least. Because I guessed what the kanji meant. What else do you do with bread with a toaster besides toast it? I made it with lettuce sandwiched between two pieces of tartar sauce, and it was easy to make. Okay, so toasted bread with lettuce, tartar sauce, and microwaved frozen tuna. Quick and easy dish sandwiched between lettuce and topped with ready-made tartar sauce. Ready-made? What, not from the powder? Coco suddenly shows up. Coco showed up for dinner, but she was still depressed. I made a lot, so you can eat as much as you want. Oh, Takeshi made tuna sandwiches. Continuity. Let's play together later. But we won't see that until the Coco route. That scene will be skipped, right? Looks like she's still worried about Tsugumi. Okay, I can't find the words to use, right? Something like that. Even I. Just then you appeared in the room. I ran over to you to whisper to her. You, Tsugumi no something Doda. Are we gonna get the scoop? She's gonna spill the beans? You, how's Tsugumi doing?
私は専門の医者じゃないから具体的なことは言えないけど
I'm not a specialist, so I can't say anything specific.
回復は今のところ順調よ
Her recovery is going well so far. Thank goodness. I sighed a relief.
順調すぎるくらいにね
To the point where things are going too well. Too well? Isn't that a good thing?
なんて言ったらいいんだろう
Good but creepy. Maybe machines malfunctioning. Now, what should I say? You hesitated. She couldn't seem to find the right way to say it. Again, this kanji giving me trouble. Okay, what's wrong? Is something still wrong? What's yabai? Guess that's wrong.
そうじゃないんだけど
That's not it, but
そうだね生命力ってやつよ
that's right. It's called a cow's life force. Okay, I know how to fix this one. So I'm going to type freshman into Google Translate to English to Japanese. And it's translated as Shin Yusei. You could also use Ichi Ninsei, right? But I need that last kanji in that word and plug it in. Whoops. Yeah, that one. Okay. Now I get, yeah, that's right. It's called vitality. Yeah. You laughed as she said that.
さーてお腹も空いたし夕食はあらできているじゃない
Now then, I'm hungry. So what about dinner? Oh, it's ready?
それじゃご飯にしましょうかね
Well then, shall we have dinner? Everybody says itadakimasu. You headed for the table. I immediately told Coco what I heard from you. Coco, I heard Tsugumi is recovering very well. It's good for you. She'll be better soon. Except... I'm sure she'll be fine soon. Like, right now. Really? Coco's eyes sparkled with joy. That won't translate probably. Okay, we've got Tebaru no Katsuka-san do. I don't recognize those katakana words. I know what tebaru is. That's a table, but I put the tuna sandwich on a plate and tried. Coco put the tuna sandwich on a plate and tried to carry it somewhere. Oh. Oh, Tatsutatsund is a tuna sandwich. Okay. Coco, where are you going, Coco?
つぐみ、きっと目が覚めたらお腹が空いてるよ。だからご飯持っていくの。
I'm sure Tsugumi will be hungry when she wakes up. That's why I bring her food.
ああ、ココ大丈夫大丈夫。つぐみなら来るときご飯あげたから。
Coco, it's okay, it's okay. If you're looking for Tsugumi, I gave her food when she came. Which is wrong because she didn't. I gave Tsugumi some food when she came. Which is... I guess you could say, if the IV counts, then yes.
つぐみご飯食べてるの？目が覚めたの？
Otherwise she's BSing. What, Tsugumi, is she eating? Is she awake?
まだ寝てるけど、点滴交換したから大丈夫。
She's still asleep, but we exchanged the IVs, so she'll be fine. Okay.
点滴？
Infusions?
そう、点滴。高い栄養ドリンク飲むより効くし、白髪だって一部が黒くなるくらい効くわよ。
That's right, the IV is more effective than drinking high-grade energy drinks, and even the white pair is effective enough to turn a part of it black. What? Are we talking using energy drinks as, like, a measure of effectiveness in nutrition? The drip is more effective than drinking expensive energy drinks. It even works on gray hair, turning some of it black. Which is funny because I know that most Japanese people's hair is black. Some of them have brown hair, but most of the time it's black, right? So you could say, okay, it turns your gray hair black again. But the characters in this game and all the other games don't have black hair. So, what? Coco wouldn't want her hair turned black, would she?
だから、つぐみには今食べるご飯はいらないの。
That's why Tsugumi doesn't need to eat right now.
だけど、ココの持ってきていたホットドッグはちゃんと冷蔵庫に入れといたからね。
But I made sure to put a hot dog that Coco brought in the fridge.
ナッキュ、ありがとう。
Not you, thank you.
どういたしまして。
Doitashimashite is you're welcome. And then she goes, which is, I guess, self-satisfaction. You bit down on the tuna sandwich to hide her embarrassment. I don't know why you'd be embarrassed about IVs, but okay. Coco cheered up and thanks. You. I murmured in my mouth. Watashi wa Gucci. Said it's not Watashi. I muttered in my mouth. Gucci no Nakade. Just pronouncing stuff. It's Gucci, not Gucci. When we put it in the last name, it turns into Gucci. I would just say Gucci whenever, because there's a reason why you say Gucci. It's easier to say than Gucci. After dinner, I came to visit Tsugumi with Coco, the boy, and PP. Sora didn't come back for some reason. Yu is in this control room doing some research on her father, apparently. And Sora is checking the regular system, so she's not here. Tsugumi was just sleeping quietly. I can hear the soft breathing in her sleep. Maybe I was just imagining things, but she seemed to be even more pale? Or less pale? Maybe it's my imagination, but her complexion seemed even brighter than when I last saw her. Yeah, so I don't know why the offline translator says more pale. I guess paleness might be brightness, because it's whiteness or something. The words you had said that things were going too well came to mind. A liquid suitable... you mean a yellow liquid was poka poka, which is dripping down, right? Yellow dots of liquid slowly dripped out. I presume he's talking about the IV. They don't drip out, they drip in. What? Unless he's talking about a catheter that she happens to be wearing. Each drop flowed down the tube and into Tsugumi's body. They kind of skip over that point. So, when Tsugumi wakes up and escapes, that would mean that that process would be her pulling out her own catheter. If she actually had one. We don't talk about that, okay? We just gloss over it. Actually, it's not that hard. You just need to know which way to turn the valve. If they did it right, it's sufficiently lubed up, so it slips out pretty easily. Coco gazed at it curiously.
これがつぐみんのご飯なの?
Hey, is that Tsugumi's food? Or meal? Gohan. It means rice, it also means meal, it's whatever. That's right, it's a... It's a... perfect song. So close. We're just missing little bits on that. I presume it's perfect.
美味しいのかな?
Is it tasty? No, you don't taste it. It goes directly into your blood, Coco. By the way, I presume you can just drink the IV drip if you want to. It probably just tastes like salty water. Not like Gatorade without the sugar. Even not particularly good, but what do you think?
つぐみん、いっぱい食べて元気になってね。
Tsugumi, eat a lot and get better. Suck it up in the... Suck it up to the IV. Coco crouched down in front of the bed and spoke to Tsugumi.
つぐみ、いつちゃんとしたご飯食べられるのかな?
Tsugumi, when will you be able to eat proper food? I think she'll be able to eat it when she wakes up, but I wonder if it'll be like hospital food for a while after all. Yeah, but it will be cream of wheat. So, this is completely random, but my mom hates cream of wheat. And I presume the reason why is because she was at one time in the hospital. I don't know why. It's something to do with mouth surgery or something. I don't know. There may be cream of wheat in multiple instances. I think she was in the hospital for some reason at one point. Also, she had a surgery on her mouth at one point. But both instances she ate cream of wheat. It was not cooked by her, and it was overcooked basically, so it was really thick. And, well, that's what she thinks of as cream of wheat. And it's like a really weird idea in her head, right? We had to it was really hard to convince her not to overcook the cream of wheat, because she was like, well, what do you want? Do you want cream of wheat soup? I mean, it's supposed to be really thick, Because that's how it was in the hospital. I was like, no, hospital is not a very good model for how to cook your food. What makes it worse probably is I was once in the hospital, and hopefully I'll never be back there ever again as a patient. Hopefully I will be back there as staff. But, well, that's a different question. It's a different issue. As a patient, right? And they gave me cream of wheat also, because I was giving cream of wheat at the hospital. And it tasted like it was made using bottled water, because it had the minerals added to taste to it, which really does not suit cream of wheat. Either that, or they put a bunch of vitamins in it, which will give it the same kind of thing. I don't know if they do that in Japan, though. It might be different than cream of wheat in Japan. It might be cream of rice, because it's Japan.
ほいじゃあホットドッグ食べられないね。
She can eat hot dogs, can't she? Hot dog. I can't imagine, like, a hospital serving hot dogs, because hot dogs are... I don't eat hot dogs anymore, by the way, because them and many other processed meats are meat cured in nitrites. And if you mix amino acids and nitrites in your colon, you get this very carcinogenic stuff. Okay, so meat with a lot of nitrites in it is just, well, a big malfactor for colon cancer. Imagine a hospital serving that. Same thing with bacon. Now, there are sausages and things like that without nitrates in them. There was some Polish sausage sold at Costco that comes in and out seasonally that claims to not have nitrites. The bratwurst apparently doesn't have nitrites, and so on, right? So if you want something kind of hot dog-ish without nitrites, there are options. But that's why I avoid. That's why it would be really weird if a hospital served hot dogs, like proper commercial hot dogs. Coco looked dejected. Like, why would they serve something that bad for you? Yeah, it's like a hospital serving bacon to the patients. Coco looked dejected. And Takeshi says, "You're right." I took a huge dog out of the infirmary. Why? It didn't even say that. You said hot dog. Why did I read that wrong? A hot dog out of the infirmary fridge. Pone. What does pone mean? Pone. Pong. Okay. Is that an onomatopoeia? For taking a hot dog out of a fridge? I lightly patted Coco's head. I guess he just looked at it or something. Well then, it's a waste. So let's all eat together. Eat the hot dog? Didn't you already eat?
ほんじゃみんなで食べようね。
Something missing here. Is there a really in this? Yes, then let's all eat together. Okay, there is a really. For reference, why there was that stompy noise is because I have a neat older sister who does not know how to walk upstairs softly. And is wearing very hard shoes. Coco smiled. Like, she physically, like, can't do it.
これとこれだ。ダメだ、違った。
Okay, this and that's not it. Whatever that means.
次はココの番だよ。
Now it's Coco's turn. After munching on the hot dog, we had a nervous breakdown. Oh, and started flipping through the supermarket. Whoa. You mean we started playing Super Memory? After munching on our hot dogs, we changed our focus to Super Memory and started playing it again.
どれにしようかな。
Man, there's a lot of stuff in here you can do if you ignore Sora. A lot of scenes and stuff, huh? Which one should I choose? One you already have seen, so that it's like you're only making one guess, I guess. Coco tilts her head in front of the lined up cards.
ねえピピ、どれだと思う？
Hey, Fifi, what do you think it is? Oh no, they're gonna use like he has like perfect memory. Fifi placed his front paw on the table as if choosing two cards.
よし、わかった。こいだね。ふりゃふりゃ。
Okay, got it. This is it, right? Two flippy onomatopoeias. Pee-Pee flipped over the two cards Pee-Pee had chosen, and the pair of aces came together splendidly.
すごいよピピ、ありがとう。
Wonderful, Pee-Pee. Amazing, Pee-Pee. Thank you. Cheat, that's so cheating. Fifi's amazing. Wow. I like how they like varied it like that. That's neat. For some reason you're not familiar with Ever17, I'm gonna spoil it for you. Pee-Pee's a robot. So that's no surprise. Like you'd expect that. I think it's probably a fluke, but if it's a and then of course Takeshi is ignorant. Let me see what Google Translate says about that. It's probably just a fluke, but perhaps the power of the wild was at work.
ピピはスペシャルなんだよ。
Pee-Pee is special. After she said that, Coco continued to flip the cards.
はい、じゃあ今度はココが選ぶね。はい、はい。
Okay, Coco will choose this time. Coco flipped the two cards, but couldn't get them all together.
はい、はい。やったー、また揃ったー。
Well, I guess Coco is not a robot, but we think we already knew that. Because robots don't get sick. Wait. Yay, we're all here again. Wait, what is that? I didn't ask for clarification for some reason on that. Next, Coco flipped the card, and then she flipped the fourth card, a third card, and then a fourth card, right? Where there was a pair of threes inside. Wait, hold on. Okay. Coco continues to turn over cards, and when she turns over the fourth card, she finds a pair of threes. Okay, but wait a minute. Okay, so she did get them together. Well, she did. I mistranslated 2 lines ago. Okay, well, we got to do better. We can't. We got. This is not good. What was this line? I think it's probably a fluke. No. What about this line? As she said that Coco continued to flip cards. Okay. Coco flipped the 2 cards but couldn't get them all together. Well, what does Google Translate have to say about that? Coco turns over 2 cards, but they don't match. Okay. And Coco's like, yes, yes, I'm glad we're all together again. So then she turns over a 3rd and a 4th card, and then there's a pair of 3s. I don't get what's going... Don't you have to... Once you fail this, then your turn goes to the next person? She's not going to wait her turn? I don't get how this is supposed to go. Coco, you didn't flip 2 cards and scoop them up, so you can't... Okay. Coco, you didn't turn over the 2 cards and scoop them up, so you can't just turn them over and scoop them up. I think Takeshi is trying to say what I was trying to say. Like, you didn't get another turn, right? Because you didn't succeed. So you can't just keep going.
これでいいんだよ。
It's okay. Oh, come on, that's fine.
エースのペアを取ったとき、次は4枚めくれるんだよ。
Makes up rules on the fly. Next time you get a pair of aces, you get the 4th cards. You get 4 cards. What's with that rule? What? That rule?
スーパーメクリンチョルールだよ。タケピョン知らないの？
It's a super memory rule. Takepyon doesn't know? This is like when you play Uno with strangers. Or Monopoly with strangers. Coco turned... Coco gave me a puzzled look. Maybe supermemory isn't actually concentration after all. Looks like supermemory is based on original new rules. Seems that supermemory has incorporated new rules from the original. Come on. Sorry, please continue.
はいじゃあ、次は恋と恋と恋と恋。
Okay, then next is koito, 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 koito. Wait, you should turn over 4 again? Does the ace just keep going? I thought that was a pair of 3s. A nervous breakdown is literally a nerve-wracking battle of memory. Oh, you mean super memory is literally a nerve-wracking battle of memory? Concentration is a literally nerve-wracking game of memory. Okay. That said, luck works in the first half. Luck plays a role in the first half. In the first half, because of the irregular rules, Coco was almost always on her own. In the first half, due to unusual rules, Coco was almost the sole winner. But the real battle of debilitation, the battle of debilitation, well, in my nerves, my memory starts working in the second half. But the real test of nerve-wracking and where memory comes into play comes in the second half. The number of cards in the room may be decreasing, but I have a pretty good idea of where the flipped cards are. Let's start the match now. Yay. I flipped the card. I flip over a second card, right? The first card was a 2. Okay. You always want to start with a card that you haven't seen. Oh wait, did I say the opposite before? Whatever I've said before, you always start with the card you don't know, because then there's a chance it could be a card you do know, and you can match it with the card you do know. I remember the positions of the flip cards. Yay. The 2 card was there. I get the 2 cards, I guess, which the translators like to translate to 2 cards, but it's the cards that say 2 on them. Yeah, this is it. I continue flipping the cards. You're pulling off a Makoto here? The pairs are complete. You can do this even if you've gotten multiple concussions from you. Coco let out cheer when she saw me hit the cards in quick succession. It's too early to be surprised. It's time for my comeback. Surprised? It's too early to be surprised. The comeback is just beginning. Thank you. The next card I flipped was the Joker. It's a picture that hasn't been shown yet. Oh, so you don't know where the other one is. Well, whatever. Now that I've memorized most of it, I still have a chance. Yeah, it's another one you don't know. With that in mind, I turn to flip the next card. Coco and Pee-Pee stirred the cards in the room. Coco and Pee-Pee shuffled the cards on the field. Wait a minute, what are you doing? Shuffle. Wait, why are you doing that? It's a waste of the cards I finally learned. I'm shuffling because you flipped a Joker, Takepyon. Looks like this is another local rule. It's another house rule. Super memory is scary. Of course. Expected it has a super attached to it. Yay, yay, Coco wins. In the end, Coco won the match.
最下位はピピのチューだよ。
The lowest ranking is PP no Chu. What is that? What? The machine translators like to translate as PP's kiss, but like, that's not what she's going for here. I don't know. Wait, are you saying you get licked by PP if you lose? Or win? Or what? PP licked my face all over because I was at the bottom. Since I was in last place, PP licked my face all over. After that, we played Super Memory over and over again. In the end, it was mostly a Coco's victories only, mostly. And Coco pretty much won the whole thing. Pretty much. You mean you won once though then? Not unanimously. And every time, for some reason, I'm at the bottom. So goes this game. It's because the boy's memory is surprisingly good. Interesting irony there. I washed my stinky face, wiped my wet face with a towel, and gazed at the white, devilish pee-pee. Pee-pee. I'll probably have dreams about him. I crawled into my bed from yesterday, right? Same bed as yesterday. Why did I not? Oh, because I said I put Windows V instead of Control V. I crawled into the bed in the dorm yesterday. I don't see where you get yesterday out of this. Oh, because the kanji's wrong. Because this. Okay. For the night or something. I closed my eyes. And is this when he gets woken up by Coco with mustard or something? No, that was in the Sora. That was a Sora exclusive thing. I closed my eyes. Tsugumi's words touched the back of my mind.
仲間私には仲間なんていないわ。今までもこれからも。
So it's Nakama. I don't have any friends. Never had, never will. Never had any comrades. Didn't translate. For comrades, I don't have any comrades. Not before and not from have not and will not, right? At this moment, Tsugumi is smiling weakly. At that moment, her lips are trembling slightly. Do you not have any comrades? Right, she's trying to do something completely different than you. I wonder what happened in Tsugumi's past. I'm curious. But I felt like I shouldn't ask about that. Well, I think the route's solidified if we're having this internal conversation. This is like a route climbing. Tsugumi was injured. She was slowly healing her wounds and sleeping. If only I could heal the wounds. On the wings of my heart. Well, that's just kind of cheesy. Very cheesy. $79. Is that like 79 hours till... No, we're not quite there yet. Der Virte tag, which I presume is the fourth day. Not the third, the fourth day. I suddenly wake up. At that moment, my consciousness was already awake. I can't sense time in closed space. Yes, that's why casinos have no windows. Yes, I'm well aware of that. I fumble on for the cell phone next to my pillow. There are pillows? The display says 5:03. That's correct, yeah, 5:03. So we're in the morning. Early morning. On the ground, it's time for the sky, so outside, it's time for the sky to start turning white and the birds to start singing. Where I live, there's actually some roosters nearby, so you get that cockadoodle doing at about 6 a.m. But here the darkness spread, and I could overhear everyone's quiet breathing in their sleep. The situation around us hasn't improved yet. We couldn't contact the outside world. Our escape route was cut off. Tsugumi was injured, and she couldn't move. The countdown to the collapse was hastened. There's nothing I can do about the time I've lost. Things are only going to get worse. No... Well, they do get worse at the end. They go up from here, and then they get worse at the end. I close my eyes tightly to escape all the trouble. They go to rock bottom. Like, ha! I let out a deep sigh in the dark room. I cannot see the light. Suddenly, Sora appeared in front of me, with his eyes closed. I hurriedly opened my eyes and jumped to my feet. Sora was right in front of me.
どうしました倉成さん。
Well, what's wrong, Kuronari-san? No, I had my eyes closed, so I jumped because Sora suddenly appeared in front of me.
変ですね。ミラージュは対象者の瞳が閉じられた時は自動的に停止するはずなんですが。
It's strange, isn't it? Mirage is supposed to automatically stop when the target's eyes are closed.
どこかにバグが出たのかもしれません。後で不具合をチェックしてみますね。
Maybe there is a bug somewhere. I'll check that glitch later. So, what's going on? It's so early in the morning. Don't tell me there's a problem.
はい。倉成さんが起きていたので、先に伝えておこうと思ったのですが。
Yes, Kurenari-san was awake, so I thought I'd tell him first, but, What? She suddenly looks meek. So, then there's been new trouble? Gulp, I swallow nervously.
いえ、違います。小町さんに覚醒の兆候が現れました。
No, that is not it. Komachi-san showed signs of awakening.
普通ならば、今も麻酔は効いているはずなんですが。
Normally, anesthesia would be effective even now, but, Does that mean Tsugumi will wake up?
はい。間もなく目覚めると思います。
Yes, I think she'll wake up. Where'd the peacefully come from? Yes, I think she'll wake up without a moment's hesitation. You gotta shake her a bit, and then she'll immediately wake up, or something. I don't know. Tsugumi will wake up? I couldn't stand here anymore, so I jumped out of bed and headed for Tsugumi.
あ、倉成さん
Kurenari-san? I didn't finish talking. I passed over the double doors and ran over to Tsugumi's bed. Tsugumi was still asleep. Just like when I saw her before, she fell asleep. What does that mean? I mean, just like the last time I saw her. Before I went to sleep. There you go. I wonder if it's true that she'll wake up soon. I couldn't make a decision. As to do what? Whether it's true or not? Sora can appear at the infirmary and finish what she was saying. Only the regular sounds of the medical computer, which transmits a pulse and blood pressure data, control the place. I quietly watched over Tsugumi's wake-up call in the midst of the mix of anxiety and anticipation. It's kind of annoying. Like, if someone's about to wake up, you maybe wouldn't want to just loom over them waiting for them to wake up so they wake up just to see you right away, right? Especially if they're going to say something super undignified. With the mixture of anxiety and anticipation, I quietly watched Tsugumi wake up. Tsugumi's eyelids trembled slightly. Then, slowly, blindingly, Tsugumi opened her eyes. Blindingly? Very bright eyes. Dazzlingly, Tsugumi's eyelids opened. Wow, okay, this is getting a little extreme. For some reason, these writers are all like using all kinds of extreme language all over the place about Tsugumi's eyes. Her wide open eyes wander slowly around the area as if to confirm the situation. She stops to stare at me. That gaze stops at me. Tsugumi and I stared at each other. Joy, peace, affection, peace. Peace? A variety of emotions suddenly well up in the depths of my heart. Meanwhile, Tsugumi being like, "Why are you here? Leave me alone." Which is reasonable. That's what I would think if I was Tsugumi. But her words are, or the words are, language is used to convey emotions, wills, thoughts, etc. Yo! Which I presume is just yo! Yo! I slightly raised my hand in greeting. That's the only word I can think of. Is yo a word? Or is that like hey? Does that count as a word? Tsugumi just stared at me with an emotionless expression.
今何時なの？
Which is, what time is it now? Tsugumi suddenly opens her mouth. I rummaged through my pocket for my cell phone. But did you remember to put it in your pocket? Crap, I forgot. I put it next to my pillow. I think it's about 5 a.m. Is there any garai in there? No, on the 4th. No, there's no garai, so I presume it's just straight. No, the kanji got messed up. Okay. So it could be about 5 a.m. on the 4th, but the about got messed up. I answered the time I checked earlier.
そう。それで状況の方は？
I see, so what's the situation? I hesitated. Okay, so Dorito, shuto kuhe. Doritoshuto kuhe. I don't know what that word. If only. Oh, it's Dorite stock. The entire Dorite stock is flooded and sealed. At this point, there was no way to escape, and the facility's collapse time had decreased. Should I tell Tsugumi about this? You don't give me a choice, do you? Tsugumi, calm down and listen. Actually...
もういいわ。あなたの顔を見れば、だいたいどんな状況かは想像がついたから。
And then she says, in a very calm voice, I don't know why Takeshi was saying calm down, "That is enough. Looking at your face, I can more or less imagine what kind of situation you're in." Tsugumi shook her shoulders listlessly. How you're feeling?
愚問ね。
Which is terrible, right? Oh, what a foolish question. In the originals, you just said awful or something like that.
そう。悪いわ。 最悪にね。
So she says, so bad, right? So bad. Worst case scenario. Or, no, bad, the worst. So she's either commenting on the situation or how she feels. I think it's how she feels, but they changed this dialogue a lot. For the original game would have said something like bad. I see. Tsugumi noticed an IV tube in her arm and grimaced in annoyance. Next line. And then in front of her face, she repeatedly opened and closed her hand. Her movements are awkward and slow.
ほんと最低ね。
Really. The worst, isn't it? What about the wound? Does it hurt? I heard that I heard the anesthesia should be working. No, that's not how anesthesia. That's you mean like local
傷
wound? Question.
麻酔
Anesthesia? Tsugumi slowly looked around. The ceiling, the sheets, and the cast on her foot or leg. She looked down at the meter. No, just that. Okay, the ceiling, the sheets, and then looked out the cast on her leg. It's like, I don't understand. These people don't understand, do they? Or, of course, realistically, right? Like, you tend to forget what exactly happens right before, like, an anesthesia event. So you could say she just forget. But the problem is that's not a trait of this character, right? You would presume that Tsugumi would not. She lifted her head and stared absent-mindedly at the ceiling.
そうだったわね。思い出したわ。
You're right, I remember now.
私まだ生きているのね。
I am still alive. The conversation ends. Or does it? You're about to say another line, Takeshi, aren't you? In the silence, various emotions welled up within me again. Tsugumi is alive. She's wounded now, but she is still alive. I'm glad she's safe. But, Tsugumi... The joy of being saved didn't show on Tsugumi's face. Seeing her face like that, okay. It appears we've already seen this choice. What do I choose? I'm glad you're safe. I'm sorry. Okay, I think I choose I'm sorry the first time because I think that was the better choice than the original, except I don't think the original had "I'm glad you're safe" as the second. Well, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. We're gonna pick it again. Gomin, which is like an apology. I mean, it doesn't make as much sense in this plot as it did originally, because Takeshi didn't really cause the incident in the same way. Put my honest feelings into words.
どうして謝るの？
Why are you apologizing? Because you got hurt for my sake. It happened because you saved Coco and me. If only I had done better. So, Gomin. I bow my head. But then Tsugumi saw me. She raised her eyebrows and glared at me.
そう。そんな理由であなたは謝ったってわけね。
So that's why you apologize? Question mark?
じゃあ、私の怪我が自分のせいだとでも言いたいわけ？
So, are you trying to say that my injury is your fault?
とんだうぬぼれね。
Thought we wrote the game! So that's not the case. You're so conceited.
私はあなたの身代わりになって傷を負ったわけじゃない。
It's like, don't take credit for injuring me. I injured myself. I didn't get hurt in your place.
それに私はこんな傷のことなんて何とも思ってないわ。
It's like a weird twist. Do you think I would bother to save you? How conceited of you to think that I sacrificed myself for you. I wouldn't do that. I had to twist your apology into a brag and then criticize you for it. Besides, I don't think anything of these wounds. Tsugumi took a deep breath.
私はただ
I just...
ただ死にたかっただけ。
I wanted to die, right? I just wanted to die. Okay, so I think this... Was this omitted from the Sora side? I don't know, we'll see. I don't remember.
なんで私を助けたりなんかしたの？
Why did you save me?
あのままほっといてもらえれば。
If you leave me alone... If you would have just left me alone, right? If only you just left it as it was.
死ねたのに。
I could have... Or I could have died. Ha! No, it's like, we're like, it's not a ha, this is a nah. Nah! What are you saying? It's true that we are in this situation, but don't give up. Misinterpretation, Takeshi. Understand, she just wants to die in general. Not just because of the situation. Tsugumi responded to my words with a lazy gaze. I looked into Tsugumi's eyes. The look in her eyes told me that... The look in her eyes told me that she was not joking. Tsugumi won't die! Tsugumi wa shinranai. No, I won't let her die. I won't let her die. We'll definitely be saved together. I'll definitely protect everyone. I won't let anyone die. Tsugumi's shoulders relaxed and her expression relaxed.
分かったわ。
I got it. Or I understand. Oh, you finally get it. My face is loosened. Tsugumi smiled. Okay, to briefly pause there. And to note that Tsugumi smiled is just the first half of the sentence. So what's the rest of it? Tsugumi gave a smile. Okay. Then she looks at my face and mutters.
よくわかったわ。あなたが偽善者だということが。
I understand often that you are a good person. Okay. Having finished my conversation with Tsugumi, I lost the will to go back to sleep and went out into the corridor to have a cup of coffee in the break room.
あ、倉成さん。
Kurinari-san. Sora was just outside the door, waiting with concern. Why didn't she just come in? Sora, so this is where you were.
はい。私も小町さんとの会話に参加しようかとも思ったんですが、タイミングがつかめなくて。
Yes, I was thinking of participating in the conversation with Komachi-san, but I couldn't find the right timing. Oh, okay, so it's like an awkward human thing? Well, in that situation, it's hard for anyone to get into a conversation.
それでどうでしたか、小町さんは。
So, how is Komachi-san? It's like, Ma, she's weird. She's emo. Well, she seems to be conscious, so I guess she was energetic in more ways than one. Well, I thought that was only one, and that's just that she's conscious. Well, she seems to be in good health and was conscious, so in many ways she is in good spirits. Okay, how's that many ways? I tried to strive for more than just mere consciousness. Her attitude is the same as always. Anyway, Tsugumi was saved. I'm so glad she's alive. I'm relieved again. Thank goodness, Tsugumi.
よくわかったわ。あなたが偽善者だということが。
I understand now that you're a hypocrite. Yeah, so a few lines ago, yeah, it's hypocrite. I didn't take into account this kanji getting messed up. It's not good person, it's hypocrite. Which I guess is like inconsistent person or something. Suddenly, Tsugumi's words came back to me. And Tsugumi on the bed, on top of the bed, Soshite, Bedo no Ue no Tsugumi no. I don't know what the last part is. Oh, and there is Tsugumi on the bed. Point taken. I guess it's in like injections. Bandages. Geeps, which I guess is a geeps. Geeps is a cast. Spots, bandages, spot, bandage, cast. I was gonna have a hard time with this one. 40 stitches on a wound, compound fractures, 2 months till full recovery. Compound fracture. And Tsugumi's expression was grim. That's right, just because Tsugumi woke up didn't mean her injuries had healed. What's so good about it? Me, about that. What was I so excited about? It's understandable. It's understandable that Tsugumi would be angry. You still don't get it. And I accidentally went back to the next line before restarting the encoding. But anyway, the previous line, I am an idiot. Baka Yaro. Okay. Without thinking, I couldn't bear the pain deep in my chest and screamed loudly.
いきなりどうしました？
What's wrong with you all of a sudden? Sora's eyes widened at my sudden shout. Sorry, I lost myself without thinking. It's like she got hurt because of me, but I got carried away without thinking about how she felt. It's like she got hurt because of me, but I got all excited and happy without even thinking about how she felt. He still doesn't get it.
倉成さんのせいじゃありません。
It's not your fault, Kuranari-san.
小町さんの事故は私のミスなんです。危険を察知するのが遅れた私の。
Komachi-san's accident was my mistake. It was too late to search for danger. I was late in searching for danger.
責任なんです。
It's my responsibility. No, it's my responsibility.
私の責任です。
My responsibility. No, my responsibility.
違います。私の責任です。
Denied. It's my responsibility. No, you're wrong. No, I messed up. No, I messed up. Wait, what are we doing? We're gonna end up in like one of those Looney Tunes things. Sora, don't stop now.
そうですね。不毛でしたね。
That's right, isn't it? This is pointless, right? This is a fruitless exercise.
それで倉成さんはこれからの用事って何かありますか？
So, Kuranari-san, what do we have to do next? Gotta do the pump thing, right? Nothing in particular, but for now, let's just drink coffee in the break room.
その後は？
And after that, I woke up early, so it'd be nice to take a shower.
それでその後は？
And then what happens after that? Why is Sora worried about my schedule? Do you have some business with Sora-san after that?
はい。私は倉成さんとお話がしたいです。
Yes, I want to talk to you, Kuranari-san. So that's how it is. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to see like the second part of the conversation or we're going to see the first part delayed. It's always tricky with these things. Well then, where should we go? I don't want to stand here and talk.
え、休息室へ行かれるのでは？
Aren't you going to the break room? Well, I didn't understand that you wanted to talk to me. You didn't communicate that. Change of plans. I'll stop showering while I'm at it. I can do that anytime.
いいんですか？私なんかのために。
Is that good? For someone like me? Or someone like you, right? That okay for someone like me? I presume it's as okay that someone like me would convince you to skip your shower and not like, am I going to smell you or something? Sora can't smell. It's none other than Sora's request. Anyway, is there anywhere you want to go?
そうですね。それでしたら魚の牧場へ行きませんか？
You're right. In that case, why don't we go to the fish ranch? The red color of the fish ranch. Red. There's no Akai. Mina. Is that like everybody? Okay. Where we all had Yomiani. I changed completely. Not the red color, maybe the dark color. The dawn colors of the fish farm where we all played Yomiani had completely changed. Oh no. What's wrong? This kanji. So probably it's the dark colors had changed, so it's no longer dark. The sun is shining down from the surface of the sea. Come to think of it, you said that the brightness here is linked to the time outside? To me, who had lived in a related... A related chain environment. You mean a closed environment? For a while, even if it was an illusion, the sunlight shining through the water looked very bright. Having lived in a secluded environment for some time, the sunlight shining through the water looked incredibly bright, even if it was just an illusion. Okay. I instinctively reach up with both hands and arch my body. I take a deep breath. I feel a refreshing morning. Even if it's the phantom sun, I feel like I've been cheered up.
倉成さん、
Kuranari-san. I turn around to the sound of my name. There stood Sora. I do see smiling. This is confusing. They're standing there smiling like the sun, was Sora. Huh? I don't know, that's what the translators say. It's weird, though. There doesn't seem to be any wrong kanji. It just translates to something weird. By the way, you said you wanted to talk to me. What do you want to talk about? So what? Yeah, I wonder which speech we're going to get, version 1 or version 2. This. I know smile seems weird in context, but that kanji is really there, and I believe this truly does mean smile. With a smile plastered on her face, Sora froze.
一体何を話したらいいんでしょう。
What on earth should I talk about?
人が人とコミュニケーションを取るときってどういった話をすればいいのでしょうか。
Okay, so I think this is the second conversation. People communicate with each other. What do they talk about? Because the first one is not this. It's the string theory thing. So this is the second conversation. What kind of conversations do I usually have? This time, I freeze. No, I don't get it either. What does Sora want to talk about in the first place? Or what does Sora want to do in the... What? Well, I'm starting to lose track of what you're saying. What do you want to do anyway?
そうでしたね。最初からお話ししなければわかりませんよね。
That's right. We won't know until we start from the beginning. Okay. That's right. You wouldn't know unless they told you from the beginning. Okay.
私はここ数日で
This past few days, I have been
初めて人と接している、触れ合っている、そんな気がしているんです。
I feel like for the first time I've interacted with someone, feels like I'm interacting with people for the first time.
これまで私はレミューでの業務の中での私は一キャストとして一キャラクターとしてでしか人とは触れ合ってきませんでした。
Up until now, I've only interacted with people as a cast member or as a character in my work at Lemu.
それはほんの一瞬、一時の出会い。いえ、本当は誰にも出会っていなかったのかもしれません。
That's just a momentary encounter. No, I may not have actually met anyone.
AI プログラムによる機械的対応なのですから。
It's a mechanical response from the AI program, after all. Yeah, it's a mechanical response by the AI program.
だから私はここ数日で
And then, that's why in the past few days I've been...
本当の意味で人と接したんです。そして倉成さん、あなたが初めて私を同じ人として接してくれたんです。
In the truest sense, I interacted with people, and Kurinari-san, for the first time, you treated me as a human being. Because he didn't know that you weren't a human being. That's the weird part. You found someone dumb enough to do that. No, actually, you're supposed to make a choice where it's like, now that she knows Sora is a robot, should you just say, no, she's one of us anyway, or should you go, oh, okay, she's a robot? Well, it's true that at first I didn't know that Sora was an AI.
知った後でも今でもずっと倉成さんは私を他の人と同じように接してくれています。
Well, after you found out, even now, oh, they're doing the same conversation as I had in my head. Kurinari-san still treats me like anyone else. Well, Sora is our friend, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way.
そうですね。私も皆さんのことは特別に感じています。
That's right. I feel special about all you too. I feel that you are all special too.
だからなんです。もっと皆さんと人と同じように接したいなって思ったんです。
That's why I wanted to treat you like everyone else. Oh, what? That's why I wanted to treat everyone like a normal person. Was that like everyone treat you like a normal person? I don't know which way the pronouns go in this sentence. Anyway, Google Translate says, that's why I wanted to treat everyone like a normal person. The pronouns might be wrong. That might mean treat everybody the way a normal person would.
だから会話によるコミュニケーションを図ろうと思ったんですが、ダメですね。説明するのならともかく、自分から会話をするのは難しいです。
That's why I wanted to communicate through conversation. It's no good if I had to explain it, but it's difficult to have a conversation on my own. So I thought I'd try to communicate through conversation, but it doesn't work. I can explain things, but starting a conversation is difficult. Okay. Well, you're just learning how to... just to let you know, Sora, us humans haven't solved that problem either. It's hard for me to suddenly have a conversation without a topic. In my case, it's like I'm the first one to start with safe topics like the weather or sports. And then, okay, let's see what Google Translate says here. In my case, I usually start with something safe like the weather or sports. and then move on to the next topic. Because you're Japanese. You start with the weather, and that's how they always do it. Not because anybody cares about the weather, that's just how you start the conversation. Also, keep an eye out for the other person's landmines while dealing with common topics like yourself, the other person's topics, hobbies, and other things we both have on hand. Be careful of the buttons that can be pushed. Then you have to juggle common topics, topics about yourself and the other person, topics about hobbies or whatever other people have on hand, while being careful of the other person's landmines. Now to make sure this isn't a kanji that's wrong, because yes, you can scroll on this thing. Landmines is a suspicious word. Well, I'll find it first brush.
地雷ですか？コミュニケーションには爆発物が必要なんですか？
Oh, landmines? Do you need explosives to have a conversation? Sora, it's called a metaphor. It's more like an analogy or a figure of speech. Landmine is, it's a key word that tugs at the heartstrings of the mind, altering the person's the other person's emotional parameters. It's a ploy or analogy. A landmine is, well, it's a key word that changes the other person's emotional parameters, that tugs at their heartstrings. Okay? That's how we talk while worrying about the keywords. That's how you have a conversation while paying attention to keywords. This is a very Japanese explanation of having a conversation, by the way. Also, as for the pattern of other conversations, well, I don't know if you could call this a conversation, but there's also the fact that you only say what you want to say, and not only do you not censor the other person's story, you attack them. Wait. Okay, what's Google Translate have to say about that? Then there's another conversation pattern. Well, I don't know if this can be called a conversation, but sometimes they just say what they want to say, and do not only don't listen to what the other person has to say, they even attack them. Okay, good. So there's this other kind of conversation where you just kind of rant at somebody about how much you hate them, and that's about it.
攻撃、戦闘行為もコミュニケーションの一つということでしょうか？
Attacks is fighting also a form of communication? Kind of. Actually, yes, it is. That's not it. But in manga and stuff, we talk about it with our fists, so maybe it's similar? But in manga, there are scenes where people communicate with their fists, so I wonder if this is similar. Okay.
はあ、会話ってなんだかとても難しそうですね。
You might be having trouble because of the ellipses. Conversation seems so difficult. Well, I don't think about it too hard. I've said a lot of things, but conversations are natural.
ですが、
But hey, Sora, what are you doing right now?
会話のレクチャーですか？
Are you giving me a lecture on conversation? It's a conversation. Sora, think too hard about... It is a conversation. Sora thinks too hard about everything. Up until now, we've been able to have a normal conversation.
そうだったんですか？気がつきませんでした。
Is that so? I didn't notice. Sora gave me a puzzled look. Watching Sora like that made me laugh.
私、そんなにおかしかったですか？
Was I really that strange? No, I'm sorry. I was just confused. You were just... No, sorry. I was confused and a bit bored. I just realized that Sora is really just like us. Or not.
倉成さんにそう言ってもらえると嬉しいです。
I'm happy to hear that. Hear you say that, Kuranari-san.
きっと私を生み出してくれた方々も喜んでくれると思います。
I'm sure the people who gave birth to me will be happy too. It might be actually created. It's just that the offline translator is like, this doesn't make sense. She's a person. Give birth to her. She doesn't understand the sci-fi. Yeah, Google Translate. I'm sure the people who created me will be happy. Oh yeah, I wonder what kind of person the creator of Sora is.
エレクトロニクス、バイオインフォマティクス、メカトロニクス、さまざまな分野の研究者と呼ばれる人たちです。
Okay, so... they're called researchers in electronics, bioinformatics, and mechatronics.
その方々の手によって私たち姉妹が生み出されたんです。
Sisters. By their hands, we sisters were born. I believe it is indeed sisters. But, we're gonna bring up the other sister, the other Sora now. Sisters? Who are the sisters of Sora?
この言い方は変でしたね。同型シリーズです。
That's the weird way to put it. It's a, that was a strange way to say it. It's the same series, right? AIs in the same series.
と言ってもハードの設計思想、使われているプログラムなんかも違うので、アルゴリズムも違ってきて、それぞれに個性があるんですよ。
That said, the hardware's design ideas and programs used are different, and the algorithms are different. Each one has its own personality.
それにヒューマンエミュレートリミッターとミームプログラムは私だけに使われてますから。
Besides, the human emulation limiter and the meme program are only used by me. What's a meme program? Memetic programs are only for my use. Although the human emulation limiter isn't really something you use, but okay.
私は結構特別性らしいですよ。
I'm pretty sure... I think it's pretty special, or I think I'm apparently quite a special edition.
だから、こうして皆さんと触れ合うことを実感できるのかもしれません。
That's why I might be able to feel the sensation of being able to touch everyone like this. Maybe that's why I feel so connected to you all. Sora smiled happily. Seeing that smile, something suddenly bothers me. What kind of time is it when Sora feels happy? Okay. When does Sora feel joy?
皆さんのお役に立った時、皆さんに喜んでいただいた時です。
When I'm useful to you. When you are happy.
私はそのように製造されていますから。
Because that's how I am made. That's not it. Yeah, there is... Is there anything you like personally? That's not it. Well, is there anything that you personally like?
そうですね。知らないことを知るのも好きですが。
That's right. I like to know things I don't know. But...
やっぱり皆さんの笑顔が一番好きですね。
I really do like everyone's smiles the most. Sora gave me a really happy smile.
倉成さんはどうなんですか？
What about you, Kuranari-san? Sora asked with great interest. Because it's a computer, you can list out all your stuff without embarrassment. When you put it like that, well, there are a lot of things I like about you, but, particularly your avatar design, no. When you ask me that, well, there are a lot of things I like. They're not about you. That was a thing the offline translator just came up with. I also like everyone's smiles the most. Sora and Iso. Probably just everyone else, I presume, because the wrong kanji. I smiled at Sora as I said that. Cheese. Ha ha ha. Our smiles overlapped.
私、もっと倉成さんたちの力になりたいです。
I want to help Kuranari-san more.
そのためにも、もっともっと皆さんとコミュニケーションを取れるように頑張ります。
In order to do that, I'll do my best to communicate with everyone more and more. Good luck, Sora.
はい。
Yes. Weird finale. Sora nodded happily. So we're going to end right here. Flag posts the end of our conversation. I feel like Sora's smile cheered me up. An undetermined amount of time passed. So, if we turn down the opportunity to listen to Sora's first spiel, we get her second spiel, anyway. Although it is more of a spiel by Takeshi than by Sora. But We get the second one-on-one between Takeshi and Sora, regardless. It's the second iteration, so that's not what the conversation you would have gotten if you would have chosen to talk to Sora at first. That one's different. And it's really hard to machine translate. That's why I put a save there so I can go back to it and machine translate it. Hungry, I parted ways with Sora and headed to the restroom for a late breakfast. Well, it was 5, so it's not that late, right? It's like 6 now. There's no one in the break room. As expected, everyone's finished eating breakfast. Wow, that conversation with Sora must have been long. On the table, I saw a plate with a tuna sandwich on it. That for Tsugumi or for you? A note that was placed nearby read, Takepyon no Ureo? What's that? Oh. Takepyon's thing. Signed Coco. Looks like Coco left a sandwich for me. Coco, sankyu na. Puck. I presume it's a biting into it noise. The mustard was a little too effective, but the crisp, fresh lettuce was crunchy and delicious. I paka down the delicious food. Try my best not to think about the raw materials for the tuna. Wasn't it just tuna? After breakfast, I went to check on Tsugumi again. And then I gently approached the bed. When I gently approached the bed, Tsugumi was asleep again. Or pretending to be, because she doesn't want to interact with you. Her regular, quiet breathing breaks the, censorship. Google Translate just says, I hear the sound of regular, soft breathing. It might be more literally like it breaks the silence. I don't think she'll wake up for a while. Even though she did. I stare at her peaceful, sleeping face. And draw on it. No. That would be funny, though. I would be tempted. Not because... I know it's not like an eye for an eye, because you drew on my face, but it's just like, cycle it around. Tsugumi's words came back to me in my head.
なんで私を助けたりなんかしたの?
Why did you save me?
あのままほっといてもらえれば。
If you were to leave me alone,
死ねたのに。
I could have died. Well, Tsugumi, you did not communicate clearly enough. You could have just said, hey, why don't you just let me die? But you didn't say that. And Takeshi would have saved you anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. He would have taken that as an answer. I wouldn't let you die. I won't let anyone die. I clench my fist. The power goes into my clenched fist, I believe. No matter how much Tsugumi does whatever this was supposed to be. I'll help as many times as it takes. I murmured quietly as if arguing to myself. I then met up with everyone. Did you? I wonder where everyone is. Oh, I intended to meet up with everyone. If they weren't in the control room, then they must be in the general facility. Since they weren't in the control room, they must be in the general facility. There was no one in the fish ranch either. In that case, where are they?
人間を含めた宇宙一切を支配する超人的な力を
The superhuman Ka that controls the entire universe, including humans. Are they in the resting room? The room with the statue? A superhuman power that controls the entire universe, including humans. Just as I was passing by that place, Yu's voice suddenly jumped into my ears.
人は運命と呼びます。
One person calls it fate. One is called fate. Yeah, we're describing the statues, which are apparently on Zvite stock. In this, Yu stood in the middle of the rest area and started giving a lecture. Man, I hate this part. The boy, Coco, and Pipu were sitting on the bench listening intently. I tried listening to it for some reason.
ギリシャをはじめとする古代世界では運命は3人の女神が
In the ancient world, starting with Greece, fate ancient world beginning with Greece, fate was determined by 3 women. Reading this conversation is like looking up a mountain and not wanting to do it. Yu pointed at the goddess statue. Her eyes met mine as I stood near the goddess statue. Eyes met as I stood nearby. Yo. I lightly raise my hand and walk over to the others. It's Takepyon.
たけしだ。
It's Takeshi.
まったくようじゃないわ。今までどこに行っていたのよ。
You're like, yo, really? Honestly, it's not yo. Where have you been all this time?
空も見当たらなかったし、つぐみが目を覚ましたっていうのに。
I didn't see Sora either, and Tsugumi woke up.
ここね、つぐみんといっぱいお話ししたんだよ。
Coco, I talked a lot with Tsugumi. I'm glad to hear that. Unlike with me, Tsugumi might be open to Coco.
そいでね、あとね、ここつぐみんの分のサンド作って届けたんだよ。
Also, Coco, I made sandwiches for Tsugumi and delivered them. And then Coco, that is me, made and delivered sandwiches for Tsugumi. Yeah, this shame they don't have the whole thing of Tsugumi just devouring things. But you could just insert that in, she just devours things. Did Tsugumi eat properly?
なんかね、すごくお腹減ったって言ってた。3個くらい食べてたよ。
Yeah, she said she was really hungry. She ate 3. Okay, so yeah, we have that. Good. She said she was really hungry. She ate about 3 of them. Oh, I see. So she's recovered to the point where she can eat. Could you listen to me a little? I call out to you in a low voice that Coco wouldn't hear.
何よ。
What is it? Whispering Yu's voice actor. Nanio. Is it okay to feed Tsugumi normally when she's still recovering?
本当はあまり良くないと思うんだけど、本人が食べたいって言うから。
Honestly, I don't think it's a good idea, but she said she wanted to eat it herself, so... It's not a bowel surgery, gee whiz.
まあ、それはさておき、つぐみの回復力には呆れるほどびっくりだわ。
Well, putting that aside, I'm amazed at Tsugumi's recovery.
ねえねえ、たけぴょん。つぐみ、早く元気になるんだよね。
Wait, Takepyon, Tsugumi will get better soon, right? I gently pat Coco's head. Tsugumi no... That person Tsugumi. She said she wanted to die this morning, but... The fact that she ate a proper meal, it must be proof that Tsugumi herself is trying to live. It's also proof that the law of conservation of energy is at least trying to be followed here, but fail unsuccessfully. You recover super fast, you have to eat enough to sustain that. As long as she recovers properly, there's no problem. Isn't that a good thing? I felt a weight lift off my chest.
それで倉成、今までどこに行っていたわけ？
Kuranari, where have you been all this time? That,
そういえば。
Oh, come to think of it. The boy suddenly looks at my face and mutters,
今思い出したけど、たけし明け方頃、空に呼ばれて部屋を抜け出してたみたいだよ。
Just remember, Takeshi was called out by Sora around dawn and left the room.
お、事情筋から有力な発言。
Oh, that's a good thing to say from the context. Oh, that's a reasonable statement given the circumstances.
僕はその後すぐ寝ちゃったんだけど、ちょっと気になってたんだ。
I fell asleep right after that, but I was a little curious.
というわけらしいけど、どうなのクラナリー。空と何していたの？白状しなさい。
So that's how it is. What do you think, Kuranari? What were you doing with Sora? Come clean. Sora's just a computer, you. Like, what? You points to an invisible microphone at me.
なに何の話？面白い話？
Yeah, well, what are you talking about? Interesting stories? Everyone focuses on me. Ha! Wakata! Okay, it's not really something to hide, so I'll come clean. So previously I did this because I was trying to do Sora stuff, right? Which was because Sora called me to do something with Sora. Because Tsugumi was about to wake up. I'm going to do the top one because I'm doing the Tsugumi route. I heard that Tsugumi was about to wake up at dawn, so I jumped up and went to go see her.
ブーブー。ココたちも起こしてくれたってよかったのに。
Boo, it would have been nice if Coco and the others woke up too.
そうだそうだ。
That's right, that's right. Or you would have woke us up or something like that. Sorry, I heard it out of nowhere, so I was just careless. But, Coco aside, you was fast asleep. If I tried to wake her up carelessly, I wouldn't know what she'd do if I was half asleep, or she was half asleep. Anyway, you was fast asleep. If I tried to wake her up, I don't know what she'd do to me. There we go. But Coco aside is actually correct. Google Translate didn't do that part. So we just combine the two.
なんなら今ここで何かしてあげてもいいわよ。
If you want, I can do something for you right here and now. Or I can do something to you right here and now. I'll pass.
まあいいわ。だけど私たちが起きた時には救護室にはいなかったけど、その後どこ行ってたのよ。
Well, whatever. But he wasn't in the infirmary when we woke up. Where'd you go after that? After that, I was talking to Sora. Sora was doing her best to communicate with us more and more.
コミュニケーションね。
Communication, is it not?
そうだ、コミュニケーションってどのように発達したか知ってる？
That's right. Do you know how communication developed? No, yeah, which is like a mixture of good and no. No.
特定の刺激、言語、文字、身振りなど 様々なシンボルを仲立ちにして情報の伝達や交換をすることで共同生活が成り立っているわよね。これがコミュニケーション。
You can make a cohabitation by using specific stimuli, languages, letters, and gestures to communicate and exchange information. This is communication and so on. What? Duh. Whoops. Community is made possible by communicating and exchanging information through a variety of symbols such as specific stimuli, language, letters, and gestures. This is communication.
コミュニケーションはね、人の生存本能が進化させたのよ。
Communication evolved on human survival instincts.
動物が持つ生存本能の4つの基本的衝動ってわかる？
Do you know the 4 basic impulses of animal survival? Eat, sleep, play. Oh, I'm missing one.
あながち間違ってはいないけど、まあ30点ってとこね。
I'm not trying to avoid it, but well, I'll give it 30 points. It's not exactly a scare. Oh, wrong kanji, okay. But I'd say it's 30 points. I don't know, she's trying to give a grade to what Takeshi says. I don't really care about this particular conversation that much.
戦うこと、逃げること、食べること、違うこと。これらの英語の頭文字を取って4つの F って呼ばれているわ。
Okay, it's fight, run, eat, and be different. The English acronyms are called the 4 Fs. Okay, they're called the 4 Fs, which are the initials of fight, flight, food, and mate. Okay, let's try to... So... What's the last one? Because I think I got the kanjis right. Google Translate calls it mating. So the Tsugao ka. So try to get. So this is fight. This is. Oh, I get it. So these are this. This kanji means roughly writing. Like, if you were to write the verb for to write, kakimasu, kaku, you would use this kanji. Although I don't remember use voice line exactly. I don't know if she's using ka here as the reading. So that's just the lister. So that doesn't actually mean anything. Okay, so this is fight. This is running. Or fleeing, which Google Translate is calling it flight. They kind of make sense because this kanji has a movement radical in it. This is the ta, so this is taberu. It's taberu ka. I don't know if it's called at the end. Taberu, which is eat, and then this is just an extension. So this is suga, which according to Google Translate means to mate. And it's funny because the acronym is 4 Fs. They seriously wrote that. Yeah, okay. Yep, I'm absolutely certain now what the 4th F is. I didn't quite get it the first time I tried to read this. Now I get it.
コミュニケーションは危険、食物、生殖といった情報を交換するために進化してきたのね。
Communication has evolved to exchange information like danger, about danger, food, and reproduction, right? Yeah, communication has evolved to allow us to exchange information about danger, food, and reproduction.
これらの情報は脳を活性化させるわ。そして感情が動かされるスイッチを入れる。
Information activates the brain and puts on the Sionuch. Oh. By the way, this is all nonsense, if you were wondering. Don't take notes. This information activates the brain and triggers emotions.
怒りや恐怖、空腹や性欲のね。そして4つの F を満足させる行動を取らせるのよ。
Anger and fear, hunger and lust, and make them take action to satisfy the 4 Fs. Yes. Anger, fear, yeah, okay. Yes.
だから4つの F を満足させるものは人を引きつけるの。
You get anger, fight, fear, flight, hunger, food, lust. That's why the things that satisfy the 4 Fs attract people.
4つの F?
Okay, that is true. The 4 Fs. That's what the kid said, by the way. At some point, there was a note and a pin in the boy's hand.
余談だけど、テレビ番組、映画、漫画、小説などの娯楽や宗教なんか4つの F のキーワードがてんこ盛りでしょ？
By the way, it's TV shows, movies, manga, novels, and other entertainment and religions. It's got, As an aside, TV shows, movies, manga, novels, and other entertainment and religion, I mean, the 4 Fs are all over the place. We're gonna do like a 4 Fs checklist, like list all the where the 4 Fs come up in Ever17, right? We have the fight, typically you onto Takeshi, but we also had Takeshi kicking the kid and Tsugumi punching Takeshi in the stomach. Anyway, flight. We had Takeshi and Tsugumi running away when the information deck collapsed. Food. Well, we had Tsugumi eating 3 tuna sandwiches in a row. And the fourth one, we'll get there.
7つの題材とかだって4つの F のキーワードがしっかり入っているでしょ？
Even the 7 deadly sins have 4 F keywords in them. Well, yeah, we have, I guess, the height of violence, which would be like murder. I'm not Catholic, okay? I'm like a fundamentalist. So I don't deal in 7 deadly sins. That's why I don't remember them. But, okay. You got, I don't know if, oh, look at it. I don't know how fear really plays into this. Dejection? Huh. I don't know about that one. And then we have gluttony, and then we have porneia. I guess that gives you another word for a word for the 4th F. But it's more specific. Needlessly specific.
だから人は4つの F に刺激され反応する。つまり生存本能に支配されているの。
That's why people react by being stimulated by the 4 Fs. In other words, they're being fed and assigned to their survival instincts. This is written by the writer of this game, and perhaps discussed in the writer's room.
生存本能。それは生への強い執着心、執念。
Describing Ever17 in a meta fashion and very primitively. Survival instincts, a strong attachment to life, tenacity.
それには理性や道徳、倫理なんてものはないのかもしれない。
I don't think there's any sense of reason, morality, or ethics to that. So you is like profoundly atheistic, okay? We already knew that from the beginning of this conversation. In the end, what you're trying to say... Well, that might change you through the course of this game, but whatever. I felt like the conversation was starting to change direction halfway through.
あ、ごめん。なんか変な話になっちゃったわね。
Sorry, this is getting weird.
ねえねえタケピョン
Take-phone. Nanda?
タケピョンの朝ごはんここ用意しといたよ
Something about breakfast. Take-phone's, breakfast. Coco got it ready. Takeshi says, thanks, I ate it. I just ate it. Thanks, Coco.
美味しかった
Was it delicious? Yeah, it was delicious.
本
Really? Yes, it was. Don't complain about mustard. Mustard makes things better. Although I would prefer if it was mayonnaise. Yeah, it's the first time I've had such a delicious tuna sandwich.
当そっかよかった
And so next time she'll add even more mustard, if that's what works. I see, that's great.
タケピョンのサンド実はココが作ったスーパーウルトラデラックスデリシャススペシャルなんだよ
Coco starts speaking a lot of English. Taki Phone sandwich is actually a super ultra deluxe delicious special made by Coco. Oh no. Well, it wasn't the nasty version. We'll get that perhaps later. That sounds like an amazing name, but it's English, so I don't understand it.
名前だけじゃないよ秘伝で大きな即席ブレンドソースがたっぷりかかっているのだ
I guess the point is, Coco speaks English. It's not just my name, it's got a secret ultimate impromptu precedent sauce on it. It's not just the name, it's also topped with a generous amount of secret mystical instant blend sauce. Oh, is that like... We call it secret sauce now, it's just a lot of, like, citric acid and stuff. It's really good though, I actually really like secret sauce. It's similar tasting to Thousand Island, but it's not Thousand Island. Like, it's not as, like, thick and rich as Thousand Island is. I also like Thousand Island. Secret recommended instant, a secret recipe for instant blended sauce? An unpleasant sweat runs down my face. Well, Thousand Island is just mayo mixed with the ketchup. Don't worry about it.
まずマヨネーズとマスタードと味噌と練りわさびとケチャップとピピが見つけてきた何かをパンに塗って
And some relish to add chunks. Drained relish. Okay. First, mayonnaise. Yeah, so mayonnaise and ketchup, so it's like Thousand Island. Mustard. Miso. Miso doesn't really taste like much. Needed wasabi. Ketchup, and whatever PP found on the bread. and whatever else PP found on the bread and any of the other stuff. I don't know, put wasabi in Thousand Island, because that's basically what this is. You just get like horseradish Thousand Island. Doesn't sound bad. Doesn't sound terrible.
それから竜田揚げには塩コショウして醤油ちびっと垂らしてバターとピピが拾ってきたあれを混ぜ込んでたっぷり塗って
Also salt and pepper and fried tuna. Drip of some soy sauce. Mix the platter with some stuff PP picked up and smear it all over.
焼けたらシナモンとカルダモンとターメリックと鷹の爪を混ぜ混ぜして振りかけて
When it's cooked, mix cinnamon, cardamom, turmeric, and what's the last thing? And hawk's claw? What's hawk's claw? I don't know what that is. Still doesn't sound too bad. It's still a mystery of what PP picked up, though. If it was ranch, it could work.
それからなんだっけ
And then what was it again? It's okay, it just tasted like Thousand Island, but spicy cocoa. That's all it did.
あ、そうだラー油となんかピピが転がしてた変な瓶の中身を適当にぬりぬりして
Next time, I guess I'll mix turmeric in my Thousand Island and see what it tastes like. Probably just tastes like Thousand Island. Oh, that's right. The chili oil and the contents of the weird bottle people was rolling around in around on something. Okay, well, I would agree that if you put Worcestershire sauce in something like that, it would make it
そこ
nasty.
にすかさずレタスの千切りを間に挟む
And honey mustard and ranch and just mix everything in there. There, I'll quickly put the lettuce. And there, I quickly put some thin slices of lettuce in between.
味付けに合計17種類の調味料とかが使ってあるのそれが秘伝で奥義な即席ブレンドソース
Someone needs to make this and put it in a video game food compilation. It's a fried tuna sandwich with lettuce and this. There are 17 different kinds of seasonings in total for the seasonings, and that's the secret and ultimate impromptu blended sauce. Even though it's not really secret because she just said what it is. Contains 17 kinds of seasonings, and it's a secret and mysterious instant blend sauce.
どうゴーセッショなかなか見た目も綺麗だったっしょ
What do you think? It's extravagant, isn't it? It looks pretty, doesn't it?
ここ味見しなかったからちょっとドキドキもんだったんだけど
I didn't taste it, so I was a little nervous.
そっかあれ美味しかったんだ
See, huh? So it was good.
じゃあ次の食事もココが作ろうかないいかな
I'll make the next meal for you too. Is that okay?
ピピももっともっと協力するってありがとうピピ
Fifi, you said you'd help out the most, or whatever. Thanks, Fifi. That was very long and drawn out. I'll pass. Normal seasonings are fine. It's just food. But what did you find, Fifi?
ユウ、話の続きはしないの？
You, won't you continue this conversation?
話の続きなんだっけ？
I'm talking about the three statues of. Continue the story. What was it?
象のことだよ。僕、聞いたでしょ？
You were talking about the statue. It's about the statue. I heard you.
そうだった。話の途中だったっけ？
Now to listen to about the three goddesses of fate or whatever. Oh, that's right. We were in the middle of a conversation.
このレムリア遺跡から発掘された女神像についてだよね。レプリカだけど。
It's about the statues of the goddess excavated from the Lemurian ruins, right? It's a replica.
そうだよ。この像って何？
The statues of the goddesses, right? That's right. What's this statue?
では、お本。
Okay, ahum. It's like ahim, but Japanese. Ohum. She cleared her throat theatrically.
ギリシア、オリエント、バビロニアなどの古代世界。運命は3人の女神が司るものと考えられているわ。
Ancient worlds such as Greece, the Orient, but you're in Japan, and Babylonia, which is Babylonia. Fate is thought to be controlled by three goddesses. Then you turn back to the others and began gesturing as she spoke. I sat down on the bench, mixed in with Coco and the others.
3人の女神は乙女、母親、老婆に例えられたり、創造者、守護者、破壊者に姿を変えながら過去、現在、未来を支配するものとしてさまざまな神話に登場しているわね。
The three goddesses are likened to maidens, mothers, and old women, transformed into creators, guardians, and destroyers, and appear in various myths as ruler of the past, present, and future. Three goddesses appear in various myths as maidens, mothers, and crones, I mean old women, creators, protectors, and destroyers, and ruler of the past, the present, and the future.
ギリシア神話のクロとラケシス、アトロポスあたりが有名よね。
The Greek myths Croto, Lachesis, and Atropos are famous.
それで3人の女神は決まって織姫という設定よ。
And the three goddesses will always be the weavers of fate. The third goddess is always Orihime. And so the third goddess is, this is messed up. The three goddesses are always named the Orihime.
恋人を結ぶ赤い糸。運命の糸のように、運命を紐や糸、人生をタペストリーなんかの織物で表現することって多いわよね。
The red, I believe, string, right, that binds lovers like the thread of fate, often expresses fate with strings, threads, and life with tapestry or something like that. What? Like the red plume that binds lovers together, or the thread of fate. Fate is often expressed as a string or thread, and life is often expressed as a tapestry or other reel.
最初の女神クロト。彼女は生命の糸を生み出し紡ぐもの。目的を定める創造者。
The first goddess, Clotho. She is the one who creates and weaves the threads of life, the creator who decides the purpose. Okay.
2番目の女神ラケシス。彼女は 生命の糸を操り維持するもの、寿命を測り与えるもの。
The second goddess, Lachesis, is Rakeshis. She is the one who controls the threads of life, the one who holds the rope, and the one who measures your lifespan.
3番目の女神アトロポス。彼女は糸を断ち切る者、終焉を告げる破壊者。
The third goddess, Ataropos. Ataropos. Or Atropos. Okay, she is the one who severs the thread, the one who destroys in the end.
とまあ、人事の一切は運命を司る女神たちに握られている。
Well then, when it comes to personal affairs, the goddesses who control fate hold the reins.
世界のすべての事柄は運命によってあらかじめ定められてるってことかもね。
Everything in the world is predetermined by fate. Fate, huh? But I have to interject. Okay, I said, why a goddess? Or I can say, is fate set in stone? Why would I say why? No, you picked the bottom choice, right?
確かに初めから運命が決まっているって思ったら意志の力は否定され諦めやる気も失せるわよね。
I mean, is fate set in stone is a reference to old school cure, which might be... That's the Sora side, right? Okay, so I picked a kind of a pro-Sora choice there, probably. If this is written intelligently. But I think it's just a Sora point or not a Sora point. I think why a goddess wouldn't give you like a pro-Tsugumi point. It's true that if you think your fate has been decided from the start, your will be denied, you give up and you lose your motivation.
天命説、因果応報思想、終末論、予定調和説、運命論、いろいろ考え方はあるけど、まあ視点の問題ね。
There are lots of ways to think about the celestialism theory, the karma theory, the apocalypse theory, the predetermined harmony theory, the theory of fate. Well, it's a matter of perspective. Perspective?
ギリシャ人の場合、運命の中に良き意志があると信じて逆に楽観的になったりね。
In the case of the Greeks, they believe that there is a good will in fate and become optimistic instead.
現在から過去を見ると確かに運命みたいなものを感じる時もあるけど、
If you look at the past from the present, it does feel like fate is... If you look at the past from the present, I do sometimes feel like it's fate.
現在から未来は見えないでしょ？だったら今できることをして未来につなげていくの。
You can't see the future from the present, right? Okay. And I'm kind of just cutting off this right here at this odd spot, but I actually do need to stop because I have to get up early tomorrow morning. So I'm going to do an awkward cutoff. And there I go.